The dream of space colonization has always lingered on the horizon of human imagination, flickering like a distant star we're determined to reach. From the sweeping utopias of Star Trek to the sprawling frontier chaos of Starfield, science fiction paints a future where humanity doesn't just dabble in space exploration, but actively lives among the stars. But is that future possible? Or are we fooling ourselves into thinking we're destined to conquer the cosmos? To answer that, we have to dive into the practicalities, the pitfalls, and the promises of trying to transplant our fragile species into the most hostile environment imaginable. The idea sounds simple on paper. Launch ships, set up colonies, thrive in new worlds. In reality, it's more like trying to turn the vacuum of space into a cozy Airbnb with no plumbing, no air, and lots of cosmic radiation. The first hurdle in turning fiction into fact is technology. Right now, our rockets are impressive but clunky, more like Model T Fords than sleek starships. They get us into orbit, to the moon, and maybe soon to Mars. But the distances in space are so staggeringly vast that Mars is basically just the backyard fence compared to the galactic neighborhood. If we were to colonize other star systems, as Star Trek suggests, we would need propulsion technology orders of magnitude beyond what we have. Warp drive? That's not just wishful thinking, it's borderline magic by today's standards, though physicists like Miguel Alcubierre have at least proposed equations that don't immediately violate the laws of physics. Still, we're talking about energy requirements that rival entire stars. Until we figure out how to bottle the sun or casually harness dark energy like it's a Duracell battery, humanity isn't zipping across galaxies in the family shuttle anytime soon. Yet even if we stay closer to home, say, the moon, Mars, or the moons of Jupiter, colonization is no picnic. The moon has no atmosphere, no liquid water on the surface, and a temperature swing that would make even the toughest desert survivalists cry. Mars, while more hospitable on paper, is still a frozen wasteland with toxic soil and radiation levels that would make sunscreen companies weep with joy. Any colony there would need to be underground or heavily shielded, making early Martian cities less like gleaming domes and more like claustrophobic bunkers. Sure, Elon Musk talks about making Mars self-sustaining, but in the short term, it's more like building a really expensive prison you can't leave. Still, it's possible if humanity can endure the psychological and physical costs of living in environments that will never ever feel like home. But here's where human ingenuity kicks in. We've always been masters of bending hostile environments to our will. Think of the Arctic, barren, freezing, unforgiving. Yet people live there, not in luxury, but sustainably enough. Now extrapolate that to space. Colonies might begin as research outposts, tiny modular stations clinging to survival, dependent on resupply missions from Earth. Over time, we'd develop systems for water recycling, food production through hydroponics, or even lab-grown meat, and energy harvesting via solar arrays or nuclear reactors. The key would be autonomy. The moment a colony stops needing Earth for every screwdriver or box of cereal, it starts being truly viable. That transition could take decades or even centuries, but it's a logical path forward. Now, the question isn't just, can we colonize space? It's should we? Philosophically, colonization raises as many dilemmas as opportunities. In Starfield, space is a new Wild West, with humans carving out new lives in distant systems, sometimes peacefully, sometimes with violence. In Star Trek, it's more utopian, a collaborative project of exploration and unity. The reality might be far less romantic. Space colonization could easily mirror the darker sides of Earth's history. Exploitation of resources, competition between nations and corporations, and unequal access to new frontiers. Imagine a Martian city built not as a shining beacon for humanity, but as a corporate mining colony where workers are trapped in debt cycles, breathing company-owned air and drinking company-owned water. Suddenly, the final frontier starts to look a lot like the early days of industrial capitalism, just with more spacesuits. Still, there's an argument to be made for why we might need to try. Earth, after all, is finite. Its resources are limited, its climate fragile, and its future uncertain. Colonizing other worlds could serve as a backup plan for our species, a cosmic insurance policy. If a supervolcano erupts, an asteroid hits, or we manage to cook the planet with our own negligence, colonies elsewhere could ensure that humanity doesn't go extinct with the dinosaurs. Space colonization, in this sense, isn't just about adventure or profit. It's about survival. Carl Sagan put it bluntly, all civilizations become either spacefaring or extinct. That's a sobering thought, though it may be optimistic to think colonies would save us if Earth collapses before they're established. Let's not forget the human factor, though. Even if we conquer the tech and the logistics, space colonization will come down to people. What does it mean to live your whole life in a colony, never breathing Earth's air or feeling Earth's gravity? What culture develops in those conditions? A Martian-born child might find Earth's sky overwhelming, its oceans terrifying, its gravity oppressive. Over generations, humans on different worlds might diverge, not biologically at first, but culturally, and eventually perhaps even physically. Imagine Jovian colonists with stronger bones from constant artificial gravity, or Martians who adapt psychologically to enclosed habitats so well that open spaces trigger agoraphobia. Colonization wouldn't just spread humanity outward, it might splinter us into entirely new civilizations, each with its own identity and worldview. And then there's the wild card: alien life. Neither Star Trek's parade of diverse species nor Starfield's quiet mystery is outside the realm of possibility. Colonizing the galaxy without encountering other life would feel eerie, like building cities in an empty forest. Encountering life, microbial or intelligent, would add layers of ethical and practical complexity. Do we terraform Mars if it kills off native microbes? Do we risk colonizing exoplanets that might already harbor ecosystems? And if we ever meet intelligent civilizations, will colonization mean cooperation or conflict? It's one thing to carve up uninhabited land on Earth. It's another to arrive on a world where someone else has been living for millennia. Space colonization, in this sense, could force humanity to wrestle with questions we've never truly resolved here at home. So, is space colonization possible? Yes, in some form, maybe not in the warp drive, galaxy-hopping way that Star Trek makes us dream, at least not for centuries. But colonies on the Moon, Mars, and beyond are within the realm of feasibility, provided we're willing to invest the time, resources, and collective willpower. What will it look like? Probably not utopian fleets of starships or sprawling cities under glass domes, but rather gradual, gritty outposts slowly evolving into self-sufficient settlements. Less glamorous, more difficult, but still monumental. Humanity may not leap into the stars overnight, but step by step, bunker by bunker, farm pod by farm pod, we might just pull it off. In the end, the allure of space colonization lies not only in survival or profit, but in what it says about us as a species. We're restless, curious, stubborn creatures. We look at a barren rock millions of miles away and say, yeah, I could live there. Whether the future ends up looking like the optimism of Star Trek or the pragmatism of Starfield, colonizing space would be the greatest chapter in the human story. It would prove that we are more than just earthbound animals, that we can take the chaos of our history, the fragility of our biology, and the audacity of our imagination, and carry them into the stars. That possibility, no matter how distant, is what keeps us gazing upward, dreaming, and maybe one day moving in.